What's going on? After a few conversations with some single moms, I decided to do this video for you single men out there. Deciding that you want to take the dice roll on dating a woman who has kids. So here are some tips and some things to keep in mind if you want to date a woman who has kids, especially if you don't have them, because I know that pre-baby, I had a different mindset as a single woman, tossing my hair back, hitting these Atlanta streets, and versus when I became a mom, I understood a lot more things that I didn't understand before having a child of my own. So let's get started. Things you need to keep in mind when dating a woman who has kids. First of all, you need to know what kind of woman she is and the reason she's dating. Now, some women date because they have a good village, they hit the streets on the weekend, they may have joint custody, and they will eat if you offer them a meal. They are not looking for anything particularly serious. If it happens, it happens. And I know that that kind of sounds like the general point of dating, but I'll keep going. And it is what it is. Then you have the woman who's more like myself, who is dating for purpose. If I go through the steps to get to know you and then we actually go out on a date, I am not there to play. Either you're serious or you're not. Um, you also need to know her village setup. Her village also includes her co-parenting situation. Does she have every other weekend off or every weekend off? Or is she a full-time parent where she does not have a lot of options on um, things like joint custody or a lot of people to watch her child? And that is going to be a little more difficult to get her out of the house on a date. So the opportunity is going to be there, but she's probably going to be, again, more like me, where she's going to get to know you over the phone before there's a go out situation. Okay. And the reason for that is, personally speaking, I don't like my time wasted and I don't have a lot of free time. So if I carve out some free time, do something besides a little mascara and some lipstick and a little ponytail, and I get cute and find a sitter and go through the rigmarole, then I expect it to be with someone who has impressed me enough to do those things for. So putting all the effort into getting myself ready for a date and getting my child situated with a sitter that I trust is a little different from someone who goes out every weekend and, has whoever will babysit because they have weekends free and a lot of help. So understand the kind of woman that you're dating. I think that that's really important. If you can say, hey, you want to meet me here tonight at 9 o'clock? And she's like, yep, on the way. That may be her lifestyle. I'm not knocking it. I don't knock other moms. But for someone like me, I need a little bit more planning. So understand the type of woman that you're dating. Other things to keep in mind is if you are not emotionally mature, you do not need to date a woman who has kids. It is exhausting raising a child. Literally, she's busted out crying while she was eating and tried to get out of eating, and told me she's sad because she wants a hug. So when we deal with a little emotional creatures all day long, the last thing we need to do is be dealing with a grown emotional creature. If you are not emotionally mature, you do not need to be dating a single mother. It is really exhausting to be raising a child, and I don't think that people really understand, especially if you don't have them. You have to emotionally, mentally, and physically cultivate everything about a child. I remember somebody was panicking. My daughter was plugging something into the wall. And I'm like, it's okay. I taught her how to plug something into a wall. Now it's great. Hey, here, plug my phone in. She's convenient. But I had to teach her that. I also had to teach her, and I'm still teaching her how to control her emotions, when it's okay to be emotional, what it's okay to be emotional about, that it's okay to have emotions, that this is something that you can stand up for, and this is something that we need to talk about. So if I am busy spending my whole day raising my child, explaining emotional health and maturity to her and cultivating it, I don't want to do that with a grown ass man. So if you are not emotionally mature, if you cannot express yourself, if you cannot communicate clearly, you're going to be another child that I do not plan on raising, and I'm going to be out. So it's really important to have your communication skills together, your emotional skills together. One of my homies, we were talking, and he was like, yeah, I'm still selfish. And I want to say this to you. You're not going to magically mature because you have a child. It's the same thought process of a baby doesn't make a marriage last longer or fix a marriage. You're not going to turn into a magical, elevated creature when you have a kid, okay? So if you're already selfish, you're still going to be selfish with the kid, whether it's yours or not, okay? So If you are not, again, emotionally mature, dating a woman with a kid is probably not the best move for you. Okay. Other things you need to consider. This is a gray area, and I know a lot of people don't talk about this, but um, and I want to explain it this way, right? So when you date somebody and you're single, a lot of people kept. I know I did. I did. I admit it. When I was single with no kids, right? I kept a fuck buddy. I did. I had someone on call, and we got together and fulfilled our needs, right? So here's the gray area. A lot of baby daddies and baby mamas still sleep together, okay? It is something that is not talked about a lot because, of course, most people who come into that relationship will feel very intimidated by that. But here's the thing, if that person is single and they're dating, then that relationship is not that serious. I know it's a little bit more intimate because they have kids. But to be honest, it is not that serious because they would have been together and they're not. So that person's out dating. So it's really important to find out if that's going on, the the levels. There are levels. Because there's no different. If someone has a fuck buddy, as I'm sure we all have, we're being adults. Once you get into another serious relationship with somebody, you let your fuck buddy know, hey, I'm seeing somebody, it's getting serious. Just so you know, call you if and when it ends, and then you move on, right? Um, so that can happen with baby daddy, baby's mamas. It does happen. If it's just something that you're not comfortable with, don't do it, okay? Because that was something that did not work for me when I was dating men who had kids. Know whether or not you want to date somebody that has kids at all. Don't think that you're being some mature creature because you're dating someone with kids when you really are not about that life, okay? The one thing I would say is that was me. I was like, ugh, you got kids? No thanks. But one thing that I know now is a lot of people get married and they have no idea how that person parents their child. And I think that is really important. And it's a plus to be able to date somebody and see how they parent their child. Now, I'm going to say, I'm not talking about Johnny who gets his kids on the weekends because Johnny can be putting up a good front in front of you for 48 hours. I'm talking about if you are dating a full time parent who has full custody or they are the custodial parent, you can see how they parent. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind. That was something that I didn't think about, but now I do pay attention to if I can. But the weekend parents can put up a quick, good front about how awesome they're going to be. That's not a true picture of it. So I'm going to stop this at 7 because clearly going to need a part 2.